In this episode, how much is genetics and how much is hard fucking work?
The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Test, equals. Welcome everyone to episode 646 of the Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular Swolecast, Beardcast, Broadcast, Gaincast, Mancast, Pumpcast, and Pimpcast. In the realm, because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me live on Facebook. Today, we are not live on Instagram. The reason why I'm a few minutes behind is because Instagram will not cooperate. So if you are missing me on the IG, you're going to have to come over to Facebook. And while we're online, while everyone's asking questions and saying what up, I'm going to try to get this going over here on the side. Eventually I just had to say, you know what, forget it, I can't get it going. And so those that know me, I'm pretty pissed off and frustrated. So keep swiping. Oh, now it's going to work. What's going on? Welcome, everyone. Come on in on Facebook. And today's episode, there we go. I think it might actually go up now. Look at Papa Swole with his multitask action. What's going on, fam? Checking connection. Come on, IG. Come on, IG. There we go. Thanks for joining us, Instagram. So Instagram just missed the intro then. So if you're catching it on Instagram, then you just missed the intro. I've been really kooky today. So welcome everyone to episode 646. Thanks for catching live on Instagram and Facebook and watching possibly on YouTube and maybe the HD later on Facebook. What's going on? If you watch the later videos, you get a little bit more of a wide screen. You get the HD nips. All right. So if you're coming in and watching the replay on Instagram, you just missed the intro because IG's been really glitchy. So you're lucky you're here. I gave up on Instagram. I just about gave up on Instagram Live. So what's going on, fam? I'm coming off a yoga day myself. I was actually really amped to work out yesterday, and the cards didn't fuck out that way. So I ended up doing yoga, and I feel good. I still feel tight. I never feel completely satisfied when I don't lift. I miss lifting when I don't. Yoga is great. It creates that balance. It creates that active recovery. Makes me feel good and all mushy gushy inside. But I missed pumping yesterday. So I'm excited to get that done today. Oh, and Instagram just crashed. So you know what? Yeah. So let's just go over to... I'll try to start again, but I'm not going to pay too much attention to it if it keeps on crashing. So today's episode is about genetics. It's a little bit about what kind of luck you might need, the fortune that you might be requiring in order to make sick fucking gains, have a beard, have long hair, wear glasses inside. You might need genetics for that. Is that possible? Because a lot of what you want from your strength training, a lot of what you want from your nutrition might be a little bit over the mountain. It might be a little bit out of reach. And I think what can easily happen with the fitness industry is that people can just lie to you. Easily lie to you. Sure, take this powder. Sure, take this pill. You'll get results. If you eat this, you will build muscle. If you do that, you will get huge. And it's not always that simple. There's a reason why professional bodybuilders, whether or not they're taking steroids and X, Y, and Z, they look different. The biceps look different. The muscles look different. The muscle bellies are different lengths. We are born with certain things. We're born with certain strengths. We're born with certain weaknesses. We are individuals. And that individuality plays a much larger role than we all give credit to in some cases. It does not mean that one person can never build muscle just because their name is Tim and they live in Arkansas. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that they're never going to build muscle. It just means that their muscles are going to look different when they're fully developed. Their muscles are going to look different when they do their training. Their muscles are going to grow potentially at a different rate. Their muscles might not ever get as big as someone else, as Mike in New York City. So it's possible, but also could very well be more impossible. Of course, when you start taking anabolic steroids and you start taking the limiters off and you start adding artificial things into the equation, then you start playing with, okay, sometimes more or less, I want to say all bets are off, but it opens the floor. It opens the playing floor a little bit because you take off the ceiling of what a human being can do naturally. And then it's almost a little bit like all bets are off. Then, okay, then you can grow more. You might be able to build more muscle, but it doesn't mean you can do that just magically. It's not, don't take that as like, oh, if I take steroids, I'm going to break through my genetic potential. I'm just going to get big and look great. It takes a lot of hard work. You can't just take any kind of drug or any kind of testosterone and just get big. So it's not that simple. What you need to pay attention to is your work ethic. And one of the great quotes, and I forget who said this, but the harder you work, the more luck you have. The harder you work, the more luck you have. So what that means is you increase your potential to have good fortune. And pretty much it means that if you fucking work hard, you'll get what you deserve. Like, if you work hard, you'll fucking get results. So do you really have more luck, or are you really just getting the feedback and the results that come from hard work? That's really what that means. It just means that the harder you work, the more results you'll have. But it's nice to think about because we talk about luck, because there are some things that just seem, okay, that's how the dice were rolled. That's how the cards were dealt. And if you are born to certain parents, you're going to have certain traits. There's a reason why heart disease runs in the family. You're born that way. You're born with a predisposition for, with a fatal defect. You are born with a predisposition for maybe a certain type of cancer, for a certain addiction. You know, we're still learning about genetic gene coding and what these sequences mean, and what kind of, how should I say, what kind of severity and what kind of importance we have to pay attention to each one, and how we can catch them early, and so forth. So as we learn more about the human body, there is a lot to be said for genetics. There is a lot to be said for what we're born with. And there's a lot of proof that shows that people are not big boned or small boned. We're just, maybe our hormones, our glands are pumping out different amounts of thyroid or of insulin, and it just sets us down a different path. Of course, how you're raised. Are you raised, you know, let's say it's the same thing as being raised super, 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 super religious, or you're being raised super, 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 super with sugar, right? It's how you're raised. It's how you're raised. Are you fed, you know, tons and tons of carbohydrates? Are you overweight by the time you hit puberty? Are you exposed to fitness and exercise when you're young? Are you sedentary ever since you're a child? What kind of influences do you have? So there's nature and there's also nurture. And there's a lot to be said for nature. There's a lot to be said for genetics. And some of that proof, or some of that reasoning, can be seen when they have, you know, twins or triplets that are separated at birth, that don't know that they're twins, that don't know that they're triplets, and they end up looking the same way, having the same interests, having the same feelings, physical attributes. You know, they have a lot of similarities there, even though they weren't raised in the same households. So you can make arguments for different things, and it depends on what we're trying to measure. But the one thing, the reason why we're doing this episode today, the one thing that you can't measure, really, the one thing that you can't measure, you can't observe and say, okay, you have this gene sequence, you might be, you know, smaller muscled or shorter muscle bellies. Like, you can't say, the one thing you can't say and the one thing you can't measure is hard work. Like, you're not born with hard work. You're not born with how hard you will work. That's one thing that you can change. So the point of today's episode is that it doesn't matter what you see when you look in the mirror. It doesn't matter what your strengths or what your limitations, what your weaknesses, it doesn't matter what all those things are. It comes down to how much effort and how hard you're willing to work to get what you want done. So when we're talking about nutrition, oh, well, I want recipes. I mean, I'm looking for some tasty alternatives. Are you looking for the right things then? Are you looking for tasty alternatives? Should you be looking for tasty alternatives, or should you be looking for the right foods that you should be eating and eating them regardless of if it tastes like a fucking rainbow? Oh, I'm looking for some kind of exercise. I get bored with my routine. I get bored with lifting weights, and doing the same thing. Should you look for something more entertaining to do? Should you look for an exercise class that will be more fun? Should you look for something that, is more synonymous with entertainment and excitement? Or because this style of lifting works, you need to shut your face and fucking do it anyway if your results are that important to you? So, what is the reasoning behind your fitness? What is the work ethic behind your fitness? What are you willing to do for your fitness? What are you looking to do, or what are you willing to do in your training that will separate you from the genetics, that will separate you from what you were dealt with? Now, not everyone's going to be a professional athlete. Not everyone's going to look big and muscular, but it certainly doesn't mean that you can't or you shouldn't work your ass off and try to get as big as you can, or get as lean as you can, or eat as clean as you can, or get as strong as you can. Those are all things that you can do regardless of what genetics you are given. Excuse me. Those are all, that's independent of your genetics. You can't let your genetics be your ceiling. We're all born with certain strengths and opportunities and biases towards certain things. Some people are more natural athletes. Some people are more naturally cerebral and can do math really well. Everyone has their strength, but it doesn't mean you can't strive and work hard for what you want. And if what you want is fitness, if what you want is to build strength, if what you want is physique, then you need to do that. And you need to do the things that it takes to get there. It's not going to happen on its own. You're not entitled to anything. You can bitch and moan and cry about someone who looks better than you, but you have to put the effort in. You have to put the effort in. You will never look like the person that you're trying to look like. You will never look like that actor that has the six-pack that you always wanted. Like, wow, I saw this movie and I was really jealous. I really wanted that six-pack because he looks so good. I want to look like this guy. Or, oh, she looks so pretty. Look at her butt and her legs are so sculpted. I want a butt like this. I want to look like her. I want a body like that. You're never going to have that. I'll say that right now. You're never going to look like that person. You're so mean, Papa Swolio. You just told someone they're never going to look like another human being? Fuck yeah, I did. Enough of this idealist. Like, I want to go to the gym and look like another fucking human being. What kind of surgery, batshit fucking magic do you think that fitness does? What kind of psychotic funhouse circus Houdini tricks do you think are going on in the gym that you're just going to fucking start looking like another person? Your body is going to just start emulating this person that's airbrushed in a fucking magazine, that's photoshopped on Instagram. Let alone just look like another fucking human being with different genetics, a different age, a different part of the world, a different training history, a different work ethic. You're never going to look like another person. You're going to be you. I'm going to be me. And that's that. So can you look better? Can you improve? That's all subjective, by the way, looking better. But can you improve your muscle tone? Can you build muscle? Yeah, you could do all those things. Yeah, you can do all those things. You can build muscle. You can lose fat. You can improve yourself. To which level and to which extent is going to be whether or not you're willing to work hard, and whether or not you're willing to stop being a fucktard in your brain and think that you're going to transform or become another person. So you can improve yourself. There is going to be limitations. But the harder you work, the more luck and the more fortune and the more things that will come to pass. What is undeniable is that no matter how hard you work, you're still going to be you. What's also undeniable is that no change, no progress, no benefit, no result that you're hoping to have will happen unless you work your fucking ass off. So it's not going to happen unless you put in all that effort. So that's number one. You have to put in all that effort. You have to work your ass off. You have to do it over. You have to do that. You have to do that. So that is not up for debate. You have to do that. That is something that must be done. Just working hard, working your ass off. And then the chips will fall where they may. And that's the cool thing about it, is that you have the opportunity to improve yourself. You have that ability to, quote, transform, to build muscle, to get abs, to carve and sculpt and lift and all that shit that, the words that we use that you want. That's all possible. But you have to take a step back, realize how the world works, what nature is, what genetics are. We are all different people. Obviously, people are very different. People are very different from one another because we have people that can live and that survive on veganism. We have people that get very sick when they do vegan diets. We have people that do extreme long distance running and live and survive. We have people that can't run for shit and they just get hurt and they get banged up and they have flat feet and they get all these injuries. There are people that can do all these types of things, contortionists. Some people can't even touch their toes, and some people are born with, I think I'm going to go into this tiny box today. Close me in it. Boom, and then they join the circus. Or they're doing all these crazy fucking videos on Instagram now, right? So there's all these different unique extremes, for human beings. As a human being, we have all these unique extremes available. We have all these things that happen just naturally, genetically. Some people are double jointed, some people aren't. So there's all these different things in just the big Felix the Cat bag and the, reach into the hat and pull out a number. That's kind of what genetics are. We don't choose this. Our parents don't choose this. No one chooses the attributes and the traits that we have. They're probably going to start splicing and saying, well, do you guys want a boy or a girl? Let me, change the chromosome here if you want to make that choice. Or do you want blue eyes or brown eyes or green eyes? Okay, let me just get in there, get into the cell. So there's a lot of things that you can't change. And what can you change? What can you control? What can you control? So let's take some questions, and then you get into the whole, Abigail, they're already doing shit like that. I mean, if you talk about the science aspect of it, I mean, we have to get into the whole moral issue. That's, that can go on for, we could start debating that, whether or not you think it's right. That's irrelevant. Just the fact that even those things, whether or not you're choosing to have blonde hair or blue eyes or to be male or female, or you're changing an embryo, it's still not going to make that embryo work hard. It's still not going to make that embryo have big muscles. I mean, that's going to be a cool thing. Like, I want my child to be swole. Let me just flip on that swole gene and you just hit that button, boom. And then all of a sudden the child just like comes out 30 pounds, just yoked, fucking doing pull-ups on the umbilical cord. So, the hard work is the variable. That's what you're going to be able to do. The effort, the discipline that you have going to the gym every day, the discipline that you have to prepare your food, to eat the right foods at the right time. That's not easy. That's not easy because you have to be really inspired. You have to have that vision. And that's why those of you that saw my Best Year Ever workshop, those of you that are part of Swolenormous X, we talk about vision a lot. What's your vision? What do you see in the future? What do you want to accomplish? What is that end goal? That keeps you consistent. That's more important than motivation. That's your discipline. You're not going to be motivated every day. You're going to have issues. You're going to have issues. And for example, I'm here every day. If there's a tech issue, all right, I'm going to try to solve it. Okay, I'm fine with being a couple minutes late live for the show. You guys will get your content. I'm trying to fix it. It doesn't work. Well, fuck it. What am I going to do? Sit here and cry about it because Instagram won't load? Fine. Fine. We move on. We move on and we do it. And then tomorrow will be a new day. And then Monday, it'll be back to normal. And then Tuesday, and then there'll be another challenge. It's fine. We do what we can when we can. You do your workouts, you get your food done, but you make the preparations and you take the steps to get it done and to be as consistent as possible. Because if you are on a macro scale doing the right things over the course of your entire life, you are going to see progress. You are going to have great results, but you have to put in that effort all the time. It's not fucking magic. It's not fucking magic. It's not going to happen by itself. So the point is, the more work you put in, the less your genetics will matter, in the sense that you are going to raise your ceiling. You're going to raise your capacity to get results. You're going to raise your potential. You're going to get the most out of what you have. So rather than bitch and moan and complain about what you don't have and the body and the human being that you're not, like we talked about, you can't have someone else's fucking body. You are going to be who you are. So instead of complaining about that and coming at it from that angle, lift your ceiling. Lift your ceiling and put more effort in to make it happen for you, and raise the ceiling on your own personal genetic potential. And I have that on the board behind me. You see that? It takes some luck too. So for me, fortunately for me, I have my genetic predispositions, whatever those technically are. I'm not educated or knowledgeable enough about genetics to say what mine are, but I do have muscles and arms. But like, I'm no different than you. I have biceps, I have triceps, I can have a beard. Maybe some people have trouble growing a beard. Okay, so I'm different. I just don't shave and this grows on my face. And I have long hair. I don't cut my hair and it grows long. Why do you have long hair? Because it grows. It happens when you don't cut it. So those things are not chosen. I'm not working hard to grow my hair, working hard to grow my beard. It just grows. And there's genetics right there. And with weight training, I am fortunate to have maximized, or to be maximizing, my genetic potential for muscle growth and for development because I put that effort in. Like, if I never worked out in my life, I used to be skinny. I wasn't like abnormally skinny, but I was very average skinny because I was active. I played baseball. I was active when I was growing up, but I wasn't just like a big kid, huge and muscular. No, I worked my ass off for this. I worked my ass off. I was never just big. No, you fucking have to train for decades. Train. So I had this genetic makeup because that's what I was born with, but I also worked my ass off for my entire life. So my body knew nothing different than, wow, this is how we train. This is how we live. This is how we do it. So it's interesting. It's interesting. And that's a whole new field. Like, we're still learning so much about it. But the fact comes down to, I would not be where I am today with my physique, with my skills, with my knowledge, with my muscles, with my development, if I didn't put in that kind of work all the time. So genetics only go so far. Genetics only go so far. I worked my ass off. Stupid consistent. And I still am. Even by my standards, I'm not as consistent as I was. I'm not as focused 112% in on my weight training as I am, because I'm doing so much with video editing and everything with this, but my focus has shifted slightly, but I'm still very consistent. And my idea and my actual me being somewhat consistent is still 1,000 times more consistent than most of you. So how consistent and how dedicated and how hard are you willing to work? And if that vision is important enough, you will do what it takes to get it done. You will do what it takes to get it done. It's like the bizarre world. So let's take some questions. Great concept for a Sunday. It's a little bit of like, it'll get you scratching the beard. It'll get you thinking a little bit. Again, apologies if you're coming here or you're watching here on Facebook. I'll make an announcement on Instagram for those that weren't able to catch the live. I may even try to go, because I go live on both phones. So I might even pop in live just to say what up and let everyone know that the entire live cast can be found here on Facebook if you want to jump in for the questions. So if you are ever watching on Instagram, or, just check the other place. If you can't find it on Instagram, oh, it's not working there, because sometimes a double live is not possible, which is fine. I actually do prefer, the reason why I always prefer to do live on Facebook is because it saves to the timeline. On Instagram, it disappears after 24 hours. So it's cool to go live on Instagram. I love going live on Instagram, but it goes away. So you can't catch it later, which is kind of a bummer. It's like, man, recording all this video, but you can't keep it like there. So on Facebook, at least it stays on the timeline, so we can have this party whenever. If you can't catch a live, you can catch the live recorded. So let's take some questions. JT, Google Dash and see the image results. Dash with short hair and no beard is like bizarro world. Well, people grow. People grow. People get smarter too. I got smart and I grew a beard. My goal is to be the best and healthiest, strongest me I can be. Jay, absolutely. Abigail May, all applicable to every part of life. It is. It is. The hard work that you put in will determine your outcome. And that's with anything. Yeah, anything. How much effort are you willing to put in for what you want? Whether it's a relationship, whether it's fitness, whether it's any kind of project you're working on. Are you willing to put in that level of work? What do you want to come out of it? The more effort you put into it, the more serious you take it, and the more you throw at it, the more luck you will have, right? The harder you work, the more luck you will have. Cloning monkeys, people next. Yep, no shit. No shit. Tim Whiskerchin, the words are true no matter how bad you want to look like someone. I know I can never have a beard like Papa Swole. Put the work in and just be you, get your gains. Absolutely. I know that's kind of funny, but it's also true. A lot of people can't grow a beard. And I get messages, hey man, how do I get my beard to grow more? I don't know, man. Like, that's something I couldn't tell you. What do I do to my beard? It's like, okay, you can condition the skin, you can rub, maybe they have like some oils that might massage or lubricate the pores, but that's not going to make your hair grow. Sometimes certain diets, maybe a higher fat diet, maybe something with like collagen, or who knows, but that doesn't stimulate beard growth. Like, I don't know. It's hard to say why some people can and why some people can't. Well, it's not hard. I mean, I'm sure there's the scientific explanation. I just don't have it. But yeah, and it's, it's one of those things. Someone might try everything to try to get to grow, and I just don't shave and it grows. So everyone's different. But it's important to know your own limitations, but also not use the limitations like a crutch. That's another problem. When people use a limitation like a crutch because they can't do this, or because they don't see any, genetic like predisposition for that, they give up. Not so much with the beard growing. That might just be severely genetic, and okay, you have what you have and that's it. Like eye color, unless you get surgery or wear contacts to change your fucking eyes. But for weight training, oh, I'm skinny, it's hard for me to grow muscles, hard for me to do this, and then you just kind of give up. That's not how you're going to get it, though. If you give up, you get nothing. For example, one of the hardest muscles for most people to grow, and for myself included, were calves. And I could have just given up and been like, all right, I'm going to have skinny calves for the rest of my life. But instead, I worked my ass off, and I keep fucking working my ass off, and I train them hard, and I crush, and I crush. I try everything under the sun, and they've grown. And they've grown, and they're still growing, and they're getting bigger. And I keep on finding new hacks and new things that work great for me. And, but I just never give up. You never give up. I think a lot of people don't try everything possible. They don't try hard enough to get certain things to grow. But at the same time, genetically, maybe you're not predisposed to having larger calves, while some people can grow huge calves without even training calves, right? Those people that just have huge fucking calf muscles, like huge steaks in the back of their leg, and they never do calf raises or any kind of calf work in their life. That's genetic. That's the muscle fiber composition in their calves or whatever it is. But some people are just predisposed to growing bigger arms or bigger chest, or to be leaner around the stomach. Like, all these things are possible. People are predisposed to being skinny or leaner, or having abdominal muscles, or some people can get lean and have 4 blocky abs, and some people get lean and they have, a 10-pack and it's really nice and organized. Some people have kind of blockier, chunkier abs. So the muscle cuts and the way the muscles look are actually physically different from person to person. we're all generally the same, but we're all very different as individuals when you compare one to one. So we have arms and legs, blah, 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 but there's a lot of individuality there. Sandy Kelso, what are some of the quickest way to recover from a hard workout? Hydration, sleep, proper nutrition. You could do foam rolling. You could do yoga. Big fan of active recovery. Don't just sit around and think you're going to heal. Self-myofascial release and yoga is fantastic to recover from a hard workout. I'm assuming you mean physically from soreness. And just don't be training upper body every day, segregating and segmenting your training program. Terry Woods, first thing in the morning around 3 a.m., I get up and go to the gym. Damn, should I eat a big breakfast or wait after my workout? Well, if you're getting up at 3 a.m. to go to the gym, I don't know what time you would wake up if you're going to eat first. I would eat after. I mean, if there's ever a case for training on an empty stomach, that's it, Terry. Like, do you feel sick if you don't eat? You can have something light. You can eat maybe like a piece of fruit. You could have, like a clementine. You could have a protein shake or something if that's something that you like. I never really recommend protein shakes, but maybe a smoothie or something light, before you go to the gym. If you feel like you have to have something, I prefer to work out on an empty stomach. It depends on what time of day it is. Sometimes I feel like, okay, I'm going to eat and then I'll wait a couple hours and then I'll go train. But if you feel like you have to eat before you work out, just keep it light. But you definitely don't have to work out first. I wouldn't. If I was getting up at that time to work out, I would just pound food after. And if you feel kind of nauseous or dizzy or lightheaded or some kind of weird when you're doing that, if you've never worked out on an empty stomach fasted before, just don't go too hard the first couple times because I don't want you to pass out or, really knock out, but your body gets used to it. You'll get used to working out on an empty stomach. I used to do that. I used to work out at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning in college, and I wouldn't eat until after. Even now when I work out that early, I don't eat until after. But you get used to working out on an empty stomach. And I think it's great, like lifting weights on an empty stomach. Jason Phillips, strive to make people want to be like you, be their goal. Strive, I should? No, that's not. I want people to strive to be better than me, but also like me in the sense that if you take, advice is only good. These are only good words. This is only good content if you put it into action. If you listen and be like, oh yeah, well, hard work is what I need. And if I don't work hard, then I'm not going to get results. Like, okay, cool. And then you go on your way and fucking do whatever shit you were doing before, then it didn't get through. It didn't work. So if you take the words and what we're talking about, because I know, am I the biggest person in the world? I always get these people like, you're not even that big, bro. I'm big. I'm big by 99% of people's standards. Am I absolutely massive? Like, oh my God, I have muscles coming out of my fucking eyes? No. Like I have enough muscle. I have enough muscle for a natural physique. I have enough muscle for a human that I'm able to maintain it. That's what makes me happy is that I'm able to maintain this and I don't have to be I don't have to be going to the gym and eating obsessively anymore. Like I'm kind of over that hump. I'm over that hump of desiring to be as big as possible. I got through that phase already, which is I'm grateful for. I'm not like I'm trying to get huge. Sometimes when I'm in the gym, I have that motivation of like I want to get bigger. But deep down, I'm like I know what it takes to put on fucking muscle naturally. I'm not interested in getting that fucking nitpicky about it and training that regularly and this because things come up. It's just eating. It's eating. It's so fucking hard. Really, people underestimate how challenging it is to put on muscle naturally and even not naturally. Like you still have to eat like so much food and just especially when I'm at this point where my body's been exposed to so many things and it's grown so much and it's so close to its natural genetic potential. And I'm not talking with an ego that I've maxed out my genetic potential. Like I'm sure there's a lot more, but the effort and the reward, right? The work and the reward for how much effort I would have to put into it to maximize or to get more out of my genetic potential now is going to be drastically more than what it took to grow from the beginning to where I am now. Just the effort and the focus because your body gets so exposed to so many things. You have those wears and tears and things that have accumulated over years. So I can't train as balls out fucking lunatic like I did 10 years ago. Like, I wouldn't. Like, I don't want to be crippled. I don't want to not walk for 4 or 5 fucking days. Like, that's how I used to train. That's what it takes a lot of times to get fucking huge. I used to train to the point where I could barely fucking walk. Like, I don't want that now. I want to be able to walk. I want to mobilize myself more. So my goals are different, which is fine. I'm happy with that. And the important thing is that you're happy with the amount of hard work you're putting in. You're happy with what you're going to be getting at the end. You know where you're going. You know what you want. And I think that's more important. I think it's more important for me to be mobile rather than to try to be as big as a fucking brick shit house. Like, I just don't care to carry on that much muscle mass because it starts to go away anyway. It's a losing battle. I raced, let's see, as in me being their goal instead of a celebrity. Yeah, you should be your own goal for sure. Joe Longo, I race dirt bikes but get insane arm pump in my forearms. Any tips for solving that? You get a pump in your forearms for racing dirt bikes because you're using your forearms a lot. An insane pump. Solving that? No, I don't have any tips for that. I mean, you're using your forearms. You're pumping a lot of blood to your forearms. Maybe you're gripping too hard. Maybe if your forearms get stronger, maybe if you train your forearms more and you do more endurance training with weights, you do more forearm workouts, maybe your arms will adapt more to it and you won't get as much of a pump, but you're doing a lot of grip work. You're flushing blood to that area. You're using your forearms. No, I don't have any like tips to get rid of a pump. Like, I'm used to pump hunting. Like, we hunt pumps around here. We love the pump. We love the pump. Nina, what's the best workout? Arms. Thank you. There is none. There is none. Those are general questions. You got to get like, there is no best workout. There is no best workout. I'm not going to be here like, oh, the best workout is to do this, to do this, to do this. The basics work just fine. If you're worried about what the best workout for arms are, you have a lot of other things structurally in your programming that you need to address first. You're looking at it the wrong way. There is no best. There is no best. What have you tried? What are you doing now? That's more useful for me. What are you doing now? I can maybe say, oh, you should be doing X, Y, and Z. You should be doing more of this or more of that. There's so many different options. There's so many different ways that work for so many people. Asking me what the best workout for arms is, it doesn't exist. There is no best. I like to know what you're doing now and how we can improve on that as is, because that's the easiest way to stick to something. That's the easiest way to get better, is to improve what you're doing now. All right. Well, my arms are kind of fat. I want them to be slimmer. You got to lift heavy weights all over your body. You got to lift heavy weights all over your body. So that's still vague. I can't give you an answer for that because there is no answer. Your arms are kind of fat. You need to lift weights, eat better. Yeah, you need to lift heavier, probably more volume, more of a bodybuilding program. Abigail, BCA is good for recovery or just yoga and foam rolling? I think there's enough research out there that show BCAs are really like fucking like sugar water. I'm not a fan of BCAs. I think BCAs are common day snake oil. I still haven't dipped into some of the latest, but I've been reading more and more about studies that show that BCAs are just fucking, like, why would you take them? I think you get plenty from food. I think that's just one of those supplement things that we take because it's like a crutch. We feel like, oh, if I take this, I feel full in the morning, well, I take this so I don't waste muscle when I'm doing fasted cardio. It's like you're drinking water, so you're going to feel full first off. You have some electrolytes like salt and potassium, which probably make you feel great anyway. I don't think you're going to be taking a little bit of BCAAs in a powder form and it's going to save your muscle because you didn't eat. Just eat after, you'll be fine, right? So for that BCAA stuff, I wake up and I drink my BCAAs. I think the sugar stimulus and the flavor and the salt and the potassium, whatever other things they put in there, will cause more of an effect than drinking, neon green branch chain amino acids. If you're eating enough protein during the day with your diet, I don't think you need BCAA supplementation. I haven't taken BCAAs in fucking who knows how long, and I'm not like, oh my God, where are my biceps? Where are my muscles? No, I notice more of a difference when I don't do yoga. I notice more of a difference when I play around with carbs. I know more of a difference when I drink more water, when I get more sleep. I notice more of a difference when I'm more consistent. I notice more of a difference when I take it more seriously, when I'm more focused, when I work more on the physical active recovery and my nutrition. That's my personal opinion I'll poke around. I'll poke around with some more BCAA research, but just these things are so expensive, and we get too caught up with buying supplements rather than focusing on the nutrition and the structure. So when I talk to someone that's asking me about supplements, not you in particular, just anyone, because I get a lot of questions about supplements, and then I dig into it and I ask, well, what are you eating? What's your training program like? What are you doing? It's like, why the fuck are you worried about the supplement you're taking? Your foundation of what you're doing as a lifter, as a human being, is fucking trash. You're not eating right. You're not training hard enough. You need to be doing those things before you even start thinking about it. Like taking BCAAs. Is that going to hurt you? No, you're not going to lose. You're not going to lose muscle. You're not going to kill yourself. I mean, could you get cancer from BCAAs? Sure, depending on what other chemicals are putting in it. But just for the record, BCAAs taste like absolute dog shit, like chemical dog shit. If you've ever tried plain raw BCAAs, it's absolutely chemical dog shit. So when you have them and they taste like watermelon or raspberry, they're putting in so much fucking sweetener and artificial shit to make it taste like that. BCAAs taste like the fucking, just the toe jam, the devil's toe jam, or like that little funk on the devil's taint or something like that. Just chemical garbage. I'm trying to think of something really gross. It's really tastes like shit. Is it true that most supplements in a pill form do not digest? It's possible. I've seen videos and research stuff done on vitamins. Like they put a vitamin in like a glass and it didn't break down at all. I've heard stories. I've had clients in the past that have told me that they've taken vitamins like these ones you get at Costco and Kirkland, like the compressed vitamins are like smooth and plasticky feeling, and that they crap it out whole, like it doesn't break down at all. So I'm sure a lot of times those pills don't break down soon enough. I think sometimes those pills are designed to be, well, it's time released. It's going to go through your stomach and get into your intestines, and it's going to release slowly. Maybe. I don't know. Abigail, BCAAs cause an insulin response anyway, and I don't want that on keto anyway. Just don't want to be super sore. In the trash it goes. Oh, I didn't know anything about why would BCAAs cause an insulin response if it's an amino acid or if it's a protein? Why would that cause an insulin response? If you have any studies on that, I'd be interesting to read that. I'm not aware of any. I'm not aware. I mean, I haven't. Just of course doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I wasn't aware of the insulin response from BCAAs. So if you have information on that, you can feel free to email that to me. Elena, when looking for MCT oil, will any brand do? Well, what kind of insulin response? Like to what extent? What does that really mean? That's what I meant. When looking for MCT oil, will any brand do? Looking to start using, instead of coconut oil, yeah, just get 100% pure MCT oil. Now Sports makes a good one. Get on Amazon. You can find that at Whole Foods or GNC or vitamin shops often. Yeah, just get 100% MCT oil. You don't have to get the bulletproof brand. That's branding stuff. And could it be a little bit better? I mean, marketing has blurred all those lines. I wouldn't spend a ton of money on that product. I never have. It's fine for me the way it is. Matt Lediel, been doing standing and seated calf raises, 10 to 15 reps, blah, blah. With little improvement, does high weight, low reps work on the calf muscles? Sure, they're muscles. It works. Volume. How often are you doing it? Standing and seated, 10 to 15 reps, 4 to 5 sets for months. I think one of the problems is you're counting 10 to 15 reps. I don't remember the last time I've ever counted a set of calf raises. I never count. I just do as many as I can. If I'm going heavy, I still do as many as I can. I just focus on the muscle. I haven't counted fucking calf reps. Actually, I don't recall ever counting. 2 days a week. I train my calves almost every single time I go. So that's just what I do. This is what I do, but I like going super heavy too, super heavy on seated, but you have to make sure you're getting full range of motion in some cases. Partial reps are great for seated too. Are there benefits of MCT oil over coconut oil in coffee? Yeah, MCT oil is pure. Coconut oil is only about 50-60% MCT. So if you put coconut oil in coffee, it's going to taste a lot like coconut. You're going to get a lot more of that flavor and a lot more of that oil in there. MCT oil blends a lot better, and it's pure. So I prefer MCT oil over coconut oil every day of the week because it blends better. I don't want my coffee tasting all greasy like coconut oil, but you can if you use a really high quality coconut oil, not like the refined, cooking coconut oil. I like Dr. Bronner's whole kernel, the brown label coconut oil. It's delicious. It smells so good. But I use that on other things. I use that as a moisturizer. I'll use that on my beard. I'll use that on food. But I put MCT oil in my coffee. So everyone, thank you so much for joining me for episode 646 of the Daily Swole. Again, apologies. I'm so sad. Instagram, you couldn't join us because Instagram was being a bitch. But on Facebook, thank you so much for joining me. Peace, McGee's fam. Deuce Magoose. YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, Apple Podcast, Google Play. Catch the podcast, share, like, drop some comments below if you're watching later. And I'll see everyone tomorrow for the next episode 647 of the Daily Mother Swole. Peace out. Love you. See you tomorrow.